Welcome back.
Step it up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be playing this character, so
Excellent.
I'm excited. I need to think about this for a second. Welcome back, by the way. We're back with more of Kinzo's flashback
I am enjoying Kinzo's flashback already.
in the military.
Hell yeah.
On a military base in Rakenjima with lots of explosives
It's really
around.
fun to see that some of the foreshadowing I picked up on is actually verified.
Actually, this isn't a bad time to mention it. I
Yeah.
was very impressed at how early you picked up on the military base. It is not even something that I considered when I was playing the game. So,
I mean, it was like, what else would tunnels below an island in Japan be when we've already spoken about Kinzo's connection to the war a bit?
I wouldn't put it past Kinzo to just dig out an entire island of tunnels. I don't know. I didn't think super hard about it. Which was a foolish move of me.
I think if anything, I didn't really think about it too hard either, because if I'd tried to think too much harder about it, I would have tried to reason out why Kinzo took it tunnels under an island.
He was like, yeah, it's there, it's probably the military, that's it, we move on. Alrighty, well, let's get with this new character. Step it up! What are you doing sucking off when the fighting's so close?
I'm sorry, Hideyoshi, I'm sorry.
Look, he was in the war too, maybe. Stars seemed to spin around inside my head. I could just lie down on the floor, but that'd only make him more angry. I've got no intention of being obedient. Still, it'd be stupid to get myself punched for no reason, so I got up and stood at attention.
Hey look, it's the hole where the mansion used to be.
Ooh, the fighting's close, is it? You really think the American troops are likely to show up on this forgotten island? Then let them come right now. That's what I've been waiting for all this time. What's this cowardly look what you're wearing? Is this how afraid you are of death?
Show me your war face.
Show me! Eyes up here! Are you so scared of those Americans? You would be killing any of them with an attitude like that! I got hit again. Would you please quit your whining already, filthy cowards? They let themselves be controlled by this inexplicable anger because it's the only way to distract themselves from their own fear. Heart and spirit aren't of any use when the battle becomes hopeless. When trapped by an insurmountable hopelessness, humans tend to rely on several other emotions to escape their fear. For these young, inexperienced soldiers, anger was a very convenient emotion to fall back upon. Anger is the wine they used to paralyze their fear. It made them chant, "Damn the British, damn the Americans," as they swung their bamboo spears around and called it drilling. The more wine you drink, the more you need to drink to get drunk. Their useless anger continued to pile up day after day without pause. I did not fear death, so I had no need of the wine called anger. This made their cowardice all the more apparent to me. What's that look on your face? You're showing me you've lost your nerve down to your very soul. You're a fish, that's what you are. You get the eyes of a dead fish. However, it went both ways. Just as I was about to spot their cowardice, they were able to pick up on my lethargy. So show me Kinzo here. The lieutenant's looking for you. Stand up. No slouching about. Double time. First Lieutenant Yamamoto was the commanding officer in charge of the Rakenjima garrison.
What was it?
What is it?
Hold on.
Does Yamamoto sound familiar to you?
I think it
I know
does.
Yamato is a thing. I don't know what Yamamoto.
Hold on.
There's a Yamato cannon in StarCraft 2. The battle cruisers get them, and it's like a special ability that does extra damage.
Oh, is it?
I know that. I know it's a reference to something though. Wasn't there a general that Hideyoshi talked about?
I think it was Yamashita. Yeah, Yamashita.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Ah, yes. Was this
Carry
about-
on.
Okay.
We can talk about it when...
When it comes up?
yeah.
In charge of the Rakenjima garrison. He was just another filthy coward trying to forget his fear with violence, and would often reprimand his subordinates for sucking off at the drop of a hat. Whenever he was in a good mood and started spouting off stories of his life, they were all about how much of a thug he had been, ignoring the rules of society. On and on about how so-and-so was a prick, so he taught him a lesson, or how everyone was so scared of him that he got special treatment. He gets on talking about what a vile human he was, as though it was a badge of honor. Normally, I had nothing to do with this lieutenant, who I couldn't respect in any way. He'd always hang around with his non-commissioned subordinates. So as long as I treated him with a snappy salute, I could more or less ignore him for the time being. Now that construction project on this island has been suspended indefinitely, there's no longer any use for an engineer like me. So, why did the lieutenant ask to see me specifically? At that moment, I couldn't think of anything. Want to take a wild guess? I want to see if you can nail this.
I think there's going to be some surprise Italians on the island.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. And why would Kinzo be chosen for something?
Why would Kinzo be chosen for something? That's a good point, actually. I don't know why he.
I would love for you to take a wild stab in the dark.
Oh god, that's actually... I mean, I guess maybe because it's a more business-oriented thing and because of his family connections they may be calling him up. I don't know, I'm kind of stuck.
I can either confirm or deny. It's alright.
Good. Don't.
Wow. Shimiya. I hear you're good with foreign languages.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good thing I didn't confirm or deny.
No, that just hadn't even occurred to me.
Yeah.
Because we're just reading this whole thing in English, the entire language issue, like, rarely crosses my mind.
Yeah. Is that true?
I'm proficient in both English and Chinese, sir.
The lieutenant liked to brag about his education in front of the non-commissioned officers, but he held a bit of a grudge against me for being even more highly educated than him. Since he also felt uncomfortable about having a subordinate who was older than him, I wasn't exactly the type he'd be willing to confide in. Just the fact that I knew several languages must have hurt his pride. What about Italian?
I don't speak that.
So, you wouldn't be much help as an interpreter between me and an Italian person, would you?
Should be possible if they can speak English as well.
Ah, yes, very true. Have you ever talked with a foreigner in English?
I have.
Why on earth would he need an interpreter in a cave on an uninhabited island that even our superiors forgot about?
Well, I wonder.
Let's find out. His question made it clear that some guest had arrived on Rekenjima who would need an interpreter. Good. Shimiya, you'll be my interpreter. That's an order.
Thank goodness it was an order.
That evening I found out exactly what he was talking about.
Oh. What are these drums right now? Oh, hey, it's the cave. This is the first time we've actually seen it.
This is a fucking track. That pointless submarine dock in the cavern that had never been used was now being approached slowly by a submarine of the Italian Navy. Of course, I knew that the Italians were our allies. However, this was the first time I'd seen anything from their military with my own eyes. What was the Italian Navy doing there? Didn't Italy surrender in 1943? What's going on?
The Kingdom of Italy that surrendered.
Yeah.
However, those who couldn't accept that surrender joined Mussolini and formed the RSI so that they could continue fighting. And as we all know, the RSI's symbol is a golden eagle. Oofed! It's all coming back. All of the Googles, all of the search, all of the time. I'm such a happy boy.
Let's go, man. The RSI.
The Italian Social Republic, also known as the Sailor Republic. You know your history. The ignorant often call the Italians cowards, saying they surrendered first of the Axis powers in 1943. That's not true. The military of the Italian Social Republic fought bravely from the outbreak of war until April 29th, 1945. Berlin just fell 3 days after that. Far from being cowards, they gave one a hell of a fight. Still, I'm surprised the RSI Navy even had a possession of a submarine that could travel all the way to Japan.
Even if they did, it's a surprise that they come out this far at all. Why would they come to Japan? To Rekenjima? The submarine was both weather-worn and massive. I doubt anyone had even imagined that a foreign submarine would come all the way out here. When we never even had one of our own submarines dock. All the guards in Rekenjima, of which there were only about 30, stood at attention as the submarine docked. Never seen the Italian military before. I heard a mine or some accident trashed their sub. What I heard, it sounds like their ventilator broke down and the cabin got packed with chlorine gas. Lieutenant was hinting about there being something very important in there. You mean like a code machine or the blueprint for some kind of new engine?
Or a massive pile of gold.
Let's go, lads.
With the RSI logo stamped on it.
Let's go, lads. I couldn't care less what they're carrying. I'm more surprised that the higher-ups still remember we exist. Hurry up, Shimiya! How are you supposed to interpret from over there?
Yes, sir.
On top of the hatch was a young Italian saluting us. Normally, this should have been the job of a commissioned officer, but his clothes looked like those of a sailor, and it really didn't look like he had the dignity and composure of a ship's captain. That probably meant that all the commissioned officers in charge had died in the accident that had befallen the sub. Crew members crawled out of the hatch one by one, but they all looked pale and entirely worn out.
What's going on here?
I'm not sure how long ago the accident happened, but being crammed together in a tiny sub filled with chlorine gas for any amount of time can't be good for your health. Not only had the ventilators broken, but traveling about carelessly on the surface of the waters around Japan these days would be foolish in the extreme. It had been like a trip inside a can of poison gas. Almost all of them were unable to walk without leaning on someone else. looked like a bunch of people staggering out of a hospital boat. Shiromia! Ask them who the captain is. Tell them that I'm in charge of this island.
Welcome to Japan. Do any of you speak English?
Crew members seemed to understand that I was speaking English, but it looked as though none of them could speak it. Eventually, someone who seemed to be dressed as an officer saluted.
Welcome to Japan. Are you the captain?
I cannot speak English. Please wait. The officer answered in slow, laborious English. After asking us to wait, he shouted something to his subordinates in rapid Italian. It looked as though he was telling them to get someone among them who could speak English. Show me, what are they talking about?
They've asked us to wait. They might be looking for someone who can speak English.
At that moment, I heard a high-pitched cough.
A high-pitched cough.
Here we go, lads. It wasn't a man's cough.
It wasn't a man's cough.
It was a woman's.
It was a woman's.
There she is.
Oh my gosh.
Give me that new sprite.
Give me that new sprite.
This lovely lady. There she is.
What the hell is that outfit though? Is that like a nurse's outfit on the ship or some shit?
I have no idea.
Why the top?
No comment. But there she is.
Fucking gold jewelry. This ain't no military person.
I speak English. As she came down from the hatch, a woman with beautiful golden hair said this in English. In this filthy cavern, the appearance of one as beautiful as she was seemed like an angel descending upon us.
Welcome to Japan. Is the captain there?
The captain is dead. That man over there is the only officer left.
My condolences. Can we do anything to assist you?
We'd like some fresh air and water. Some of us are still having trouble breathing, and would like a place to rest.
We'd be happy to help. Do any of the others understand English?
The ones who did are all dead. I'm the only one left. Shiromia! What's that woman talking about? Who's the captain? That man from a second ago? Who is that woman? Get translated already, goddammit! The lieutenant has been yelling like that for a while now. He must have been surprised to see such a beautiful woman appear from a submarine, and more than a little annoyed to see all of their attention focused on me alone. It was a mark of how divinely beautiful she was.
Sir, it seems she's the only one who understands English. She'll act as their interpreter. The captain is dead. That officer seems to be acting in his place.
Who's that loud man who keeps yelling at you? Don't tell me he's your superior.
Unfortunately, he is. He probably doesn't like me having such a beautiful lady older myself.
Kinzo, why?
Fucking Kinzo.
Oh, I didn't expect flattery from an Asian. Your English is superb. I imagine you've been brought up very well. Unlike that rude man who keeps on shouting. They should have made you the officer in charge around here.
Oh, I never expected flattery from a Westerner.
Oh! You're an interesting man. What's your name?
Shiromia, Kinzo. If you don't mind, may I ask for your name as well?
Beatrice Castiglione.
Welcome, Beatrice. Welcome to Japan.
That's it, lads. The moment. That was when I first met Beatrice, the woman who would capture my heart for the rest of my life. So, Beatrice was an Italian?
Yes. She was the daughter of a high-ranking RSI official. Apparently their most important cargo was her father himself. Sadly, he'd already died by the time they reached Rikkenjima. Man, that's gotta suck. Your fucking father's just died and come off the boat and some fucking Japanese pimp just starts flirting with you.
Hitting on you? My father just died. How dare you? And then she slaps him in the face.
Why would a high-ranking official like that come to Japan? You're saying he went through the Suez Canal and crossed the Indian Ocean all the way here.
That's a good point. If they wanted to reach one of their allies, Germany should have been much closer. So why would they make the long trip to Japan?
It may have been part of some grand, outrageous strategy. I don't know all the details, but shortly after I learned that this submarine's mission was far from a minor one.
They said that there had been about 60 of them at the time of their departure. However, only about 10 of them, including Beatrice, had survived. This submarine had apparently hit a mine or something in the nearby waters and sustained a great deal of damage. They told us that it had flooded rapidly with water, which had taken out the batteries and released a large amount of chlorine gas. Their sub had become completely incapable of continuing further, nothing but a massive lump of metal floating by the dock. As the sub seemed to be carrying something of immense value.
Something of immense value?
The higher-ups ordered us to investigate. After questioning the Italians with Beatrice and me acting as double interpreters, we concluded that this thing of immense value must have been her father himself. Apparently, Beatrice's father was extremely high up in the RSI hierarchy, and it was thought that he might have worked alongside Mussolini himself. Though their massive voyage had apparently been part of some top-secret mission, now that the man himself and all of the commissioned officers had died, their reason for coming to Japan remained a mystery. And our higher-ups were telling us to investigate, which meant that even they didn't know what it was. Their ship had broken down, their mission was unknown, and the high official they had been carrying was dead, and even the Japanese government didn't know why they were here. The Italians' great and perilous voyage had come to a meaningless and utterly fruitless end.
This really wasn't what I was expecting episode 7 to contain.
No, it's just a lot of truth, right?
Supposedly.
That's a relief. I always assumed the scenes of Japan would smell like soy sauce.
What a coincidence. I've always thought the Italians had hair made of pasta.
Of course we do. You don't know how hard it is to get that perfect al dente texture. I imagine in Japanese also wear spaghetti are narrow.
I see you've done your homework. In Japan we use squid ink instead of shampoo.
You really are amazing, Kinzo. It seems you know everything. Have you ever been to Italy?
Never. I've read a lot of books though.
An Asian man reading Italian books? Wow. What kinds of books?
Niccolo Machiavelli and Dante Alighieri. So I know of course that you're the Eternal Lady.
Oh, what a surprise. You must be quite the bookworm. Does this mean you came from some Japanese noble family?
Who knows?
You're completely different from those other savage-looking Japanese soldiers. I can tell. You must have come from a very noble family. Are they assuming you're some sort of Japanese aristocrats?
Of course not. I just managed to strike it rich in the spinning industry in recent generations. I didn't study all that as part of some noble's hobby. I just did it because I wasn't allowed to do anything except read, play around with roses, and get myself drunk.
There had been no trace of malice in Beatrice's words. It had just been a curious question asked to a friend from a faraway country. However, Beatrice was from a noble family herself, so she could tell. She could see the faint, gloomy look on Kinzo's face. Forgive me, Kinzo. I didn't stop to consider what a high-class person like you would choose to take the position of a common soldier.
I don't give a damn about my family line. When I die, the Ashuramiya name will have no hold on me, and I'll finally be free.
So, you joined the army because you wanted to die. You mustn't do that. Your family would be so sad.
Family? I have no family. I have a wife for the sake of public appearances and children, where I've never wanted any of them. Everything is a fleeting daydream created by those selfish, greedy elders. So at least while I'm on this island, I can forget about all of that and find some peace. Peace. Haven't I spent each and every day complaining that I wasn't set to the front and haven't even managed to die yet?
I can't understand the pain you're going through, but I do realize that my thoughtless words have hurt you. Forgive me, Kinzo.
Forgive me, Kinzo. Yes, those words are probably what did it. All of the Japanese called me Ashuramiya. Reminded me that I was the property of the Ashuramiya family every time they talked to me. But she was different. She called me Kinzo, not Ashuramiya. So maybe just for the time that I chat with her like this, I can forget that cursed family.
Kinzo.
I hadn't meant to make Beatrice feel guilty, but she seemed certain that her thoughtless words had hurt me. Thank you.
Huh?
Since you always call me Kinzo, I finally feel like I'm my own man. I think I finally met a person who truly sees me for who I am.
Kinzo. You may be a foreigner I met in a distant land, but I can tell that your heart is sensitive and beautiful. If we had grown up in the same neighborhood, I am sure we would have become fast friends. I am happy too. You always call me Beatrice, not the daughter of the Castiglione family.
We were both in the same position. Her Castiglione family must have been a rigid place as well. When we came from different countries, we had finally found something that we both understood.
Do you have a nickname that people close to you use? Here we go.
No. Usually they just call me Kinzo.
Well then, you should stop calling me Beatrice. All of my close friends used to call me Beatrice. I'd like you to call me that too.
Very well. From this point onwards, allow me to call you Beatrice as a sign of our friendship.
Ha, come on. Don't be a stiff like that. We're already friends, okay?
Bright smile stretched across Beatrice's face. No matter how many decades pass, that smile will never fade from my memory.
So, by beating Beatrice, you managed to regain your sense of self.
Whereas most people would put it he cheated on his wife. Ah!
If you plan to continue being rude, I suggest you get in the habit of covering your butt. After having his butt pinched once more, Will hopped around in pathetic agony. So, in your eyes, grandfather, Rekenjima was always special because you first met Beatrice here.
Indeed. If I had never come to this island, I would never have met her. Truly is an island of miracles. No matter how hard he tries, he's just always batshit insane.
Yep. Well, holding on.
Is there anything left of that submarine base today? Yes, it's still there near Kuodorian. It's in the shadows of a cove that can't be seen from the outside. After all, fishermen never approach this supposedly ill-omened island. It's unlikely that anyone besides me still knows of its existence. Is the 2 kilometer long underground passage between Kuodorian and the mansion the remnant of that base? That is correct. Some nonsense about fortifying several locations across the island and connecting them with tunnels carved out of limestone caverns. I made use of that underground passage and built 2 mansions, one at each end of the island.
2 mansions, 2 families. The Hashimiya family mansion and a mansion for the Kinzo released from the shackles of the family.
Correct. It was something I needed. Another place for me to escape from the cursed name of Hashimiya. Still, I do feel bad for you. It must be awful to have come all the way out here and be unable to fulfill your mission.
I don't really know what Papa's plan was.
Ooh, this voice is rough to
Good luck. He said we needed to run far away to hide it until the time came.
I'll be brave and try the narration from now.
Go for it.
And what is it?
I don't know. It was something very important, and he planned to hide it for many years until the right moment. Oh, and he planned to hide himself along with it. I know because he apologized to me for sending us to live a long time on foreign soil.
Didn't that second lieutenant of yours say that you had no cargo in particular and that you were transporting your father instead?
Lieutenant Angelo doesn't trust you or the others. Even I know a few things he's kept hidden from you. He might even know what Papa's goal was, and what the cargo is.
Whatever it is, that's a mission for the Italian military. It has nothing to do with us. After all, we're allies. We should be able to trust each other.
I have no doubts that you're a good person, Kinzo. I even told Lieutenant Angelo that you're a man we can trust, but why is it that men always get so rigid and uptight when they're in a strange land? Normally, they're very bright and cheery people. Ever since we came here, there's been this strange feeling of tension. Lieutenant Angelo has ordered that his subordinates be armed at all times. It's almost as though we're in enemy territory.
That was true, and the Italians were clearly the very opposite of relaxed. The Japanese soldiers watching this began to suspect that the Italians didn't really trust them at all. They're gonna kill each other, and I'm gonna be proven right again. That's normal for a soldier. This is precisely the time for them to straighten up their guard so they don't embarrass themselves in front of a friendly army.
They have a person stand watch every time they sleep, and they're still keeping a lookout to make sure none of you approach the submarine, even though it's nothing more than an unusable scrap heap now. It almost feels as though they're clearly prejudiced against the Japanese, and that bothers me.
True, they had set up a constant sentry by the submarine and had refused to let any of the Japanese soldiers come near. This hadn't made the Japanese particularly happy. However, submarines are treated as classified in all countries. Maybe it was just natural for them to stop foreigners from approaching it without reason. They're probably uncomfortable with it being made to live in a way they aren't used to. The boat that's supposed to take you back to the mainland is still being delayed by weather problems, and up the command chain. Just how long it'll take before they can send you there? We've been told that a boat was being sent for them directly from the mainland, but apparently thanks to the weather problems up the command chain and the recent air raids, they had no ships they could spare on a forgotten island like this. There may have been political issues as well. After all, the Italians' homeland had already surrendered to the Allies. I didn't know the details. The only thing I knew for sure was that they'd been stuck on Rekenjima for 2 whole weeks and no one had come to get them. Of course, we had some small boats on Rekenjima. There was nothing physically stopping us from taking them to a nearby island. Still, Rekenjima was technically a top-secret base, and contact with the outside world had been strictly forbidden. But yet they know that there are boats coming!
Well, there's nothing we can do about it, and it isn't all that bad, really. After all, if a boat did come for us, I'd probably never see you again, Kinzo.
True.
A romantic couple.
To me, those 2 weeks were the first I'd ever truly lived. The faint 20 years before all seemed to vanish in the sparkle of that pair of weeks. I realized that she'd have to leave this place eventually, and yet this single moment felt so rich and dazzling that I felt myself wishing I could last forever. Then I heard a voice calling for Beatrice in Italian. It's Lieutenant Angelo. Looks like he wants you for something.
Probably to scold me. These days he keeps rapping on about how I shouldn't get too friendly with the Japanese soldiers.
The second lieutenant approached, saluting Kinzo. And after glancing at Beatrice, though asking her to translate something, he began to speak in Italian. Judging by his tone, it sounded like something serious.
Lieutenant Angelo has something very important to say, so he wants to talk with your commanding officer. He wants your help with something. I don't know what.
Something important. Got it. I'll go find Lieutenant Yamamoto. Lieutenant Angelo had two of his subordinates with him and wore a stern expression on his face. They didn't have to say anything for us to realize that this had to be something very serious.
That's it! Lift it up!
The winch creaked and the thick chains rang out with a dull clang. Very slowly, it was lifted up out of the submarine's cargo hold.
Now I get it. So this is why those Italians didn't want us near a sub.
First lieutenant and the others looked up at what the winch was slowly lifting up, all of them wearing unpleasant forced smiles.
Unbelievable. So this is what Papa brought you this way.
Incredible. I've never seen anything like this.
There it is.
There it is.
It's the gold, lads.
There's a mountain of gold ingots. Those carefully piled bars were slowly being lifted out of the cargo hold, one group after another. This gold had been their true cargo. Don't know where they were planning to take it. They might have been trying to sneak it into Japan, one of their allies. They might have been on their way to hide it in some remote area. Is it some sort of strategy? Conspiracy, embezzlement, top secret transportation of wealth? This incomprehensible amount of gold led to all sorts of dark suspicions. We didn't know anything about the truth. All told, the gold weighed an incredible 10 tons. It was the only truth we could wrap our minds around at the moment. It strongly resisted showing this to us. However, the submarine could no longer make sea, and it was apparently continuing to take in water bit by bit. The Kencher had been outfitted in an extremely shipshod way, so we had no means of repairing it. What a useful submarine, Doc! Although we could unload the sub, there's no way we'd be able to lift it up again once it had filled with the water and sunk to the bottom. Now that transporting the gold away had clearly become an impossible goal, they had apparently decided on unloading it. Of course, they made no effort to explain the reason behind all this gold. They just asked us to help them take it out. Why would they take so much gold out of the country? Couldn't they have just changed the course of the war with this much wealth?
Weapons change the course of war, but after the war they aren't useful for anything. Money can also change the course, but it remains just as valuable after the war.
There's no longer any way to change the course of this war. The Axis powers will probably all surrender, leading to an Allied victory. Anyone could tell that simply by looking at the American planes flying across the sky day after day. However, gold does not lose its value after war. Everyone stared upwards, dumbfounded, as the winch slowly lifted the dully sparkling gold.
Another short chapter.
My goodness. So much is happening.
I know. It's progressing very quickly.